One of the most infamously difficult missions in Helldivers 2 are these Rescue the Scientist missions. So much so that if you are in a random lobby and anyone boots one of these up, I see people leaving before the mission even starts. Or if they do begin, they end up leaving midway through. The basics of this mission are you have to escort these scientists to safety, all the while dealing with waves and waves of enemies that just continue to get progressively harder. And when you do try to clear the field with all of your firepower, you end up taking the scientists out, and that just further hurts your chances. But actually, these missions are not that bad. We have just been playing them all wrong. Dr. Pooplove here, and let's get right into it. Now, firstly, I should say this wasn't actually my idea. I actually saw this strategy being posted a couple times around the Helldivers subreddit, which is a great place to check out if you do want to see some tips going on around the community. And after reading this, I wanted to check it out for myself. Of course, though, matchmaking with randoms means they often are just interested in farming the defense missions and then kick everyone out before you even get here and are able to complete the operation. But maybe if more people know about this method, well, we may be able to start convincing people that yes, it's worth finishing the operation off because it is a relatively easy scientist rescue mission, or at least it's not as hard as it needs to be. So first of all, what you need is your classes set up. And basically you need 1 speedy stealth player and 3 loud aggressive players with tons of noise making things like orbitals, mortars, etc. It actually doesn't really matter for those 3 what's on their loadout. What really matters is what the stealthy player has. That player should have light armor on because that gives them extra speed and stamina. And they should probably have a shield pack on in order to protect themselves because they're gonna be going at it alone. The scout perk on the light armor seems to be the best at doing this as it allows you to run around and not get detected as easily. A railgun is also good too since you won't have as much team support and you probably will want to have something solid. Now the basics of this strategy are your entire team drops far away from the objective on the opposite side of the map, and the 3 loud players, they stay there and don't move. Only one person, the stealthy guy, runs towards the objective. And the idea here is that the 3 people far away are aggroing the automatons away from the objective, which if done right, leaves the stealthy player free and clear to hit the buttons and free the scientists. When the stealthy player arrives, they need to plan a basic circular route where they're hitting all 3 buttons to release the scientists. Usually by the time you hit your 3rd door, the first door is ready to go again, and so you just need to run around in circles doing this. Now, for the most part, if you do it this way, this area is actually pretty empty because your 3 teammates are drawing all the attention. But occasionally you will run into roaming groups of automatons who could begin to overwhelm you and could kill you. If you do end up dying though, your team will end up respawning you back far away. So hopefully by the time it takes you to run all the way back to the objective, those enemies will have moved on. This isn't always the case though, and so it can be tough as you get closer to the end. And especially as the time starts ticking down, there is a temptation for the whole team to come and help. And so it can still fail, but generally this is a much better strategy than people have been doing, where they basically set up all their people around the objective and it just doesn't work. Doing it this way gets you much closer. Now, I haven't actually beaten this on Helldive yet, but I was able to do this method with only 3 players on Impossible. Probably actually the hardest part about doing it this way is just convincing your team to do it, because at first it seems like a very risky strategy, but it really does work, and hopefully more people start doing this and catching on to this strategy. So rather than skip these missions, try this strategy instead, and that way we can actually win the operations and contribute towards the defense of Super Earth. Let me know how this works for you, and I want to say a special thank you to my YouTube members for supporting the Bowel Movement. But otherwise, so long, Pooper Troopers.